But women directors would be content with cozy domestic subjects. The career of Katherine Blue Steel Bigelow must have set them straight.
So, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to get gnarly, it's time to get dirty, it's time to get greasy, because I got a bit of a bone to pick with Chris Gore and Alan Ng over at Film Threat. And while I'm at it, if those two gentlemen cared to invite me as a special guest on one of their future live streams, I would absolutely love that. And in fact, if you yourself are a YouTuber, you can press the collab button before you upload your video. Upload like Macho or Inspector Clouseau of the French police farce, and maybe you might get an invite back. But without further ado, folks, let's get into this video today, because it had me seething and brewing and a-harring.
YouTube's newest hero is here to save the day. His name, Kung Fu Hot Dog.
At the risk of being sexist,
Yes.
I have to ask a question.
Absolutely.
Do women understand male franchises? And let
No,
me
they don't.
qualify this. A post that went viral here. I wanna bring it up. Pretty.
And while you're staring at this picture of Kathleen Kennedy, former president of Lucasfilm, you might want to bring up as well, which is such a shame because I had such a great lunch and a great dinner today.
Interesting post that got over 1.4 million views.
That's pretty impressive.
From Bill Holt. Says opinion: women killed Star Trek.
Yes.
Women killed Star Wars. Women killed the MCU.
Yes.
Women killed the DCU.
Yeah, they absolutely did.
Women killed Lord of the Rings.
Well, they're about
Rings
to
of
kill
Power.
the DCU
Women
because...
killed James Bond. Women
Because,
killed
oh my
Indiana
God, is this thing
Jones.
going to pause? If you haven't heard, Christina Hodson, she's been announced as the new writer for the Batman, or Batman the Brave and the Bold, but either way, it's doom and gloom for that character, isn't it?
Women killed The Witcher.
Yes.
Women killed Sandman.
Uh-huh.
Women killed Ghostbusters.
Yep.
Women killed Terminator. Women killed Alien. Women killed Predator. Women killed Men in Black. Women killed Mad Max. Women killed Monarch/Godzilla. Women killed Charlie's Angels. And women and gays killed Doctor Who. Did I miss anything? 1.4 million views. 5,000 reposts.
Wow. I mean, if it was Doctor Who, we'd be talking about Hugh Laurie as Doctor Who.
Who?
Does Bill Holt have a point?
He has a hell of a point.
Now, I'll say this. Many incredibly talented women have been involved in Star Trek and Star Wars. Most notably, Marsha Lucas,
Yep.
who edited Star Wars, George's former wife.
An already established character, right? I think like Bryce Dallas Howard, she directed some of the best episodes of The Mandalorian. I think that there are women that
I think Verbal Riot here, he's an okay guy, actually. I've seen some of his stuff on his own channel. But to say that Bryce Dallas Howard directed a handful of really good Mandalorian episodes because it reinforced the masculinity of it all. And listen, I've watched this 11-minute clip, and the one person's name they do not bring up when he talk about women who don't ruin the male psyche, the zeitgeist, Katherine Bigelow. Oh my God. Look, I've got to talk about Miss Bigelow quickly, because not to be confused with Deuce Bigelow, male gigolo, because that's a whole other story. But Katherine Bigelow, you have to remember, right guys, that whenever I saw her name on a film poster, I got excited immediately because I knew this girl's pedigree already. Now, I don't actually have the copy of the video, the DVD with me right here. It is DVD, but Near Dark, 1987, a vampire movie that gets criminally overlooked. Do you know what, folks? I'm going to go and get that DVD in a second, because I just want to illustrate to you why you should get that and not the Blu-ray version. So give it a few seconds and I'll be right back.
It's time for a break, so let's break.
This is the version you should buy of Near Dark, not that Twilight namby-pamby Blu-ray version, which is on my other shelf actually. I'll be getting rid of that soon, but that's the version you want to get. It's a shame this is not even a 4K release at the moment, but this is Katherine Bigelow's vampire numero uno film with Bill Paxton, and the bird from Jeanette Goldstein from Aliens 2, Lance Henriksen. Really great cast of people here. This is a savage vampire movie. So not only does Katherine Bigelow lend her name to the credits as director, but Hurt Locker, when that film came out in 2008 and I saw she was attached to it, bro, I was already there. Now, Zero Dark 30 is a very strange entry point for me from Miss Bigelow because it stars the very insufferable, yeah, wait for it, you know who I'm going to say, Jessica Chastain. Not only the insufferable lead of the 355, but also the soon-to-be cancelled Apple TV show The Savant, because that was meant to have been released last year, but due to backlash and the questionable white man is bad storyline of that particular series, and if you don't believe me, look at the trailer. Oh my god, it is terrible beyond belief. But my point is, Jessica Chastain campaigned long and hard to be the female-centric role in Zero Dark 30, when for me, people like James Gandolfini, Chris Pratt, and Joel Edgerton were more the key draws for me for that particular film. And speaking of draws, yeah, putting that aside, because any other female like Bryce Dallas Howard would have been a much better role, a pick for that female role instead of Jessica Chastain, who, let's face it, was begging to be seen by the Oscar Academy, and she got a nomination for her troubles, but not an award, thank God. And listen, folks, when you're talking about some of the greatest films in a single year, obviously Terminator 2 in 1991, which, if I'm not mistaken, was co-produced by Gail Ann Hurd, who was at the time very attached to James Cameron. Obviously, Katherine Bigelow, I believe, had some ins and outs with Mr. Cameron too, but in 1991, Miss Bigelow gave us Point Break.
Patrick Swayze.
Fear causes hesitation, and hesitation will cause your worst fears to come true.
Keanu Reeves.
You think I joined the FBI to learn to surf?
Point Break.
I remember watching this at the cinema because the trailer enough sold me. Johnny Utah, played by Keanu Reeves, Bodhi by the late great Patrick Swayze, who has a very pivotal moment in that film towards the third act of the movie's climax, where he dives out of an aeroplane, skydives, because he was a qualified skydiver at the time. Keanu Reeves couldn't do this stunt because he wasn't qualified, and I just thought, wow. And it's an awesome shot, like a one-time deal, and it's just amazing that Katherine Bigelow just caught that for celluloid history.
Adios, amigo!
And then there's Blue Steel with Jamie Lee Curtis playing against a villainous Ron Silver. God bless you, Ron. He was terrific in that role. And Miss Curtis, her role was pretty much that he made a bit of a faux pas there by misgendering Ms. Jamie Lee Curtis. If you know the rumors, you know what I'm talking about. But her role is not that perfect. You've not seen Blue Steel. It's not a perfect film, but it's just, if you look at it as a case study in what Katherine Bigelow was trying to achieve, it's just a fascinating movie from start to finish. It truly is. And K-19, the Widowmaker, with a miscast Harrison Ford, but he was still great against Liam Neeson as well. Submarine drama, fantastic stuff. So Katherine Bigelow understands what it is to construct a strong male character, or the absolute epitome of what makes macho men so captivating on the big screen. And again, Amy Hennig, I always go back to her when it comes to video games and the original Uncharted games. She understood what makes men tick, and I love that. So yeah, women don't necessarily ruin everything, but they do these days, because the minute you see some bird's name attached to a male orientated project, you know it's going to be downhill. My previous video, the female president of Nintendo of America, Devon Pritchard. Get your pitchforks out, folks, because you know what she's going to be doing anytime soon with those beloved characters of Luigi, Mario, Donkey Kong, and the whole caboodle. Well, that remains to be seen, but I thought I'd make that video today, folks, because I love Chris Gore, I love Alan Ng, but the fact that none of those guys or anybody on the panel brought up Katherine Bigelow, oh man. And listen, guys, if you care to share this video with Chris Gore, ask him for me to be a guest on one of his future live streams. I would love to chat shit about movies that I grew up with, because just like Chris and Alan, I'm Generation X. We were the best generation out there, folks. And on that one, if you ended up enjoying this reaction today, leave a like below, smash that subscribe button, and I'll catching me for the return of the next video.
You know, these characters have to move in such a way because they're countered by somebody else, and you know, different falls, different, or else you're, you know, you really, you know, otherwise you're filming chaos, which of course would be nice too.